Hello friends, it's been a little while since I've seen you. I wanted to show you around the studio, and I guess this is my studio tour for 2026. I just thought it would be fun to give you a peek at the hardware that I'm using. I wanted to try to tell you, um, how much I paid for stuff, because a lot of this is used. Tell you what I'm using it for, and maybe even tell you how likely I am to hang on to some of these things. I'm not going to show you any software or computer setup, any of that, just the physical hardware keyboard. So I hope you'll stick around and let's take this tour together. So this is as good a place to start as any, and in fact this is the most recent piece of hardware I've added to my studio. This is the Korg Keystage 61. It's the latest MIDI controller they've come out with. It includes Poly Aftertouch and MIDI 2.0. I'm enjoying it. It's not the best key action I have on any synth or controller. Actually, the Arturia Keylab that I have, I think it's the Mark II. I prefer the action on that. It just feels a lot better. But this one is pretty nice. So, and I do enjoy the Poly Aftertouch functionality. I paid, I don't remember. I think it was $6.99 US to buy it brand new. So, Keystage controller. All right, next here we have the Yamaha MG206C. This is a 20-channel mixer. I got this back when I had a lot more hardware than I have now and needed to be able to route all of it through one source. I bought this used from a friend and I got a really good deal on it, but I don't recall what I paid for it. I think maybe it was $200 or maybe $100. Anyway, it wasn't a lot compared to what they were new. And it's I've had it for 4 or 5 years now. It's been a good mixer. No problems with it at all. All right, next we have the Kawai K1. This was a $20 yard sale find. It needed some work, and it still doesn't work perfectly. It still has some digital noise from time to time that comes out when you turn it on, and usually power cycling it will fix that, but I haven't been using it much, honestly, since we got it. In fact, my son was using it as a controller keyboard for a while. It does have actually a pretty nice key action, so decent keyboard. It's got some fun early 90s sounds to it. And then sitting right below it is a Sequential Circuits Prophet 600. This is actually just on loan to my studio. Belongs to a friend of mine. My dad and I have done some work on this for him over the years, and for the most part it seems to be running real well. And especially, I mean, it's basically a 45-year-old synth at this point. Dad refinished the wood ends on it and they look really nice now. And I've been considering the key bed upgrade that you can get, because this key bed is just, in my opinion, is pretty junky. It's loud, it's clunky, the action doesn't feel good, but you can get a Fatar key bed upgrade for it, so I thought about doing that. We'll see what happens. Next we move over to the Korg DW 6000. So I've had a couple of these actually over the years. Dad and I bought one and fixed it up and sold it. No, that's not right. We bought it, fixed it up, and I kept it. And eventually I sold it. I had a big purge a few years ago, sold a lot of stuff out of the studio. And then this came up for sale online locally for, I think, $150. And for some reason, I'm really drawn to this synthesizer. So I ended up buying it for $150, and we've had to do a few things to it. We replaced some jacks. Of course, the battery had to be replaced, but it plays really well, works just fine. So it's good for some mid 80s, kind of harsh digital sounds. It's got an analog filter But it's got some cool sounds to it. Again, I like the vintage aspect of it. I think probably in my entire studio, this may be the best bang for the buck. I mean, 150 for all this working. So I've been real happy with it. And then below this, we have a good old M1. This is the second M1 that I've owned in the last several years. This one, Dad and I worked on. I had bought a lot of, I think there was 3 keyboards and a bunch of cables and stands and stuff from a guy. This was included. I think we had to write off $50 of the total purchase price. In other words, when we resold everything, we were $50 short of what we paid for the whole thing, but we ended up with the M1 still. And it's got a problem with digital noise. When you first fire it up, it takes about 60 seconds for it to calm down. It sounds really, really crazy and it's super loud. Once it's calmed down, it plays just fine. Everything works. All the keys, buttons, sliders. I mean, it's in perfect shape for, again, something being nearly 40 years old. Yeah, and like I said, I didn't really pay for this. It just sort of landed in the studio after all of our repairs of the other synths. And then that brings us around to the Micro Freak, which was free because I got it for Christmas. So I didn't pay anything for this. The Micro Freak is really awesome, and I enjoy it when I turn it on and play it. I don't spend enough time playing it. That's my problem with it currently. So really need to get that out and mess around with it some more. I like the vocoder on it. All right, and this is my favorite synthesizer currently in the studio and maybe of all time. This is the Korg Prologue 16. I love this machine. I bought it brand new before Korg discontinued them. I had the 49 key version earlier and just really loved it, but had to have the 61 keys. The 8 voices on the 49 didn't bother me, but I needed the 61 keys. I wish it had aftertouch, but I will also say that this is one of the finest key beds I've ever played. It just feels so good. But yes, 16 voice analog synth with a digital multi-engine built in, and it has onboard effects, 2 oscillators. It's just a great synthesizer. I really love this thing, and I will, unless something happens, I'll be keeping this forever. And down here you'll see a Yamaha expression pedal, which I bought within the last year, and I'm really impressed with it. It's built like a tank. It's solid. It works real well. It's big, so I mean, it's hard to miss if you're trying to find it with your foot. So I really like that as well. And then last but not least is the Korg O1W Pro X. This thing is ginormous. This I bought it was right at the start of COVID, actually. So I think maybe in March of 20 or February, somewhere in there. We almost weren't able to get to it because of COVID. I had to drive to Chicago, which is about 5.5 hours. Dad and I took a road trip up there in pretty bad conditions, actually. Bought this. I spent $200 on it. Everything is functioning 100% correctly. Since I bought it, like a year ago, I had to replace the sustain jack pedal on it. Other than that, battery replacement's all I've had to do to it. Even, I can't really see it, but even the old floppy drive is still working just fine. The guy that sold this to me, after we had agreed on the sale and the price, I had asked him if there were any custom patches in it or if he knew. He said he didn't know. He said that his wife, they lived in Nashville. His wife got this when she was at Belmont University, and it was Michael W. Smith's keyboard. So whether you believe that or not, that's up to you. It was not a selling point. He didn't tell me till after we'd already agreed on the deal. But Michael W. Smith is my all-time favorite, so this was a cool find. I've wanted an O1W Pro X for a long time just because that was the first keyboard I became aware of when I was watching some of his shows. And so to find one that I could afford was awesome, and then just the added bonus of the history of this machine. So there you go, guys. There's my 2026 studio tour. Thank you to my friend Ian for encouraging me to do this. I appreciate it. Need a little nudge from time to time to get those videos out there. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think of the setup here. Is there anything that you think I could add on the cheap that would enhance my setup? As always, I really appreciate you watching. Thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you next time.